is like we always say on the NFC North, guys, go Pack go. And the NFL gave the Green Bay Packers a massive, massive gift. And my main man, Paul, and I are going to break down the Packers' entire schedule. And you know it is good when you got a Bears fan on here being like, oh, the Packers are coming. Paul, how you living, man? You ready to do this?
I'm ready to do it. I don't love talking up the Packers, but I do think the schedule breaks down nicely for them. And, we always try to keep things real here and tell it like it is. So let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first, like right off the bat, when you take a look at Vegas's predicted winning ratio for each team in the NFL, the Green Bay Packers, who still were one of the best teams in the NFC, if you take away that Micah Parsons injury, if you take away a kicker not being able to hit a field goal, if you take away that obviously Tucker Kraft injury, I think the Packers are making a way further run in the NFL playoffs than the Bears did. And yet they're truly in the middle of the pack when it comes to their schedule. And I think the biggest caveat going into this season is how long is it until Micah Parsons is back and ready to go? And Paul, what do you think that is? Like, if you had to say a week that you think Micah Parsons, like they have to hold it together until week, what is Parsons back?
I'm looking at, they have their bye week 11. I feel like no matter what, you can expect him back by week 12, but there's been a lot of rumors for earlier too. So
he's back week 4. He is back.
You think week 4?
Oh, absolutely. Micah Parsons is back week 4. Like,
okay,
if Patrick Mahomes is playing OTAs,
yeah,
Patrick Mahomes is supposed to be playing week 1. Micah Parsons is back week 4. But let's go. So I think we have to hold out until the 5th week of NFL play when we're playing primetime against you. And so let's go through this. So the Packers are opening up on the road against a division rival, the Minnesota Vikings. Paul, why do you think that is the easiest game on the schedule for the Packers?
The Vikings, let's be real. This is a 3-horse race in the NFC this year. Sorry, Vikings fans. I think the one thing that could be tricky is if Kyler Murray starts, it's kind of a new system. There might not be a ton of tape, but at the same time, they're probably still working like they're the kinks out of the offense as well. So it's tough to know.
Yeah, I love playing the Minnesota Vikings on the road to open. You're getting a road game out of the way. And if you'd have told me like before the season schedule came out that it's like, hey, 3 of your first 4 without Micah Parsons are on the road, I would have had a mini heart attack. But then it's like, if you actually look at it, 3 of the easiest games, the road games for the Packers that they have to play without Micah Parsons are absolutely cakewalk games. So I think I think you and I out there, Paul, could bat down a Kyler Murray ball as he can't even hop on the go-karts at most Chuck E. Cheese's because of his height. And I just think we know how that's going to go. So I think week number 1 is a win. And then you go again, back-to-back road games. That's a hard way to open it up, but I love it because I think there are 2 of the easiest games on your schedule. You are going to the New York Jets and playing a former NFC North coach there in Aaron Glenn. Why do you think that is an easy game for the Packers, Paul?
I mean, the Jets legit might be the worst team in the NFL this year. It doesn't really get a whole lot easier than the Jets.
So to have 2 away games and 2 wins, like that's money, right?
Yeah, that's 2 very, like if you're going to start with 2 road games, that's how you want to do it.
Green Bay Packers, 2 road games. One of the other things you got to love from a favorability standpoint here for the Packers schedule is that they are actually one of the least teams who are going to be bound up in an airplane, getting all of that exposure to radiation and just like the hardness on the body. So if you look at it, the Packers only travel 12,000 miles in the air. You take a look at teams like division rivals, like we're going to have to play with, obviously, the San Francisco 49ers and the Los Angeles Rams. They're getting about 12,000 miles just in that flight to Australia. So I think that's another crazy advantage here that the Packers are doing very little amount of traveling here in this schedule. And so you're starting off there, 2 road games, getting a lot of that travel out of the way there. Then you come for your home opener here up against the Atlanta Falcons. Paul, what do you think about the Packers matchup against Michael Penix, or what's going on at quarterback for the Falcons?
Yeah, I assume it's probably going to be Tua, I would think, but maybe it'll be Penix. Either way, it's not going to be any.
That's the claw. Cut it. Can't say that. Yes, you can. He had concussion, CTE. Keep it rolling.
That's right. But yeah, I mean, I don't think the Falcons are a very good team either, especially at Lambeau Field. That should be an easy one. There's no reason they shouldn't start 3-0 with that schedule.
Which is absolutely wild. So now you're getting to the territory where people are thinking that you might have a Micah Parsons potentially returning. This is the first time I'm actually seeing a little bit of a game that gives me a little bit of worry here. This is going on the road to Tampa. You are getting to the point in the season where I think playing in Florida is not as detrimental as playing in September. There's been times like you watch teams going to, especially Miami, Tampa, and they intentionally put that away team in the sun, and it is just, you have cramping and you're just like out of shapes, especially early. But I think October, you're getting to the point where it's not like scorching hot. So I think the away advantage there or the home field advantage for the Bucks is a little lessened, but that's a tough game. What do you think about that one, Paul?
It is. I mean, that's the first game where I'm like, they could lose it, but at the same time, I just feel like that whole NFC South is not great. Like it's. I feel like the winner of that division is probably going 9-7 again. The Bucks, they lost Mike Evans in free agency. I mean, I think the Bucks could win that game, but if I'm putting money on it, I'm probably putting it on the Packers.
Yeah, I also have seen that Bucky Irving still has not been cleared from his shoulder injury that he had last
Yeah.
season. That's a concerning thing as well. Like, is that going to be a lingering injury? But now we get to the prime time, the time it matters, where you have a NFC North division rival here, Chicago Bears coming to town for a 3 o'clock tip off here, kickoff. What do you think about this matchup here with the Chicago Bears, Paul?
Oh, the Packers are coming for blood in that game. Like, as much as I loved watching those big wins at the end of the season for the Bears, when they came out with those cheese graters, and I know Ben Johnson was not super respectful to Matt LaFleur, like, the Packers have been just waiting, chomping at the bit to get after the Bears. And then, of course, first matchup is at Lambeau Field, which is always a tough place to play. I think the Packers
Who do the Bears have
definitely will be the favorite there.
Who do the Bears have the week before?
The Bears the week before play the Jets at home, so it is an easier game for them.
Yeah.
But
Coming
it's
back
still
from Florida, and y'all have just played the Jets. Okay, so we got two tough games in a row, and now we are getting to week 6, where I think you have Micah Parsons absolutely has this one starred on his calendar, and he wants to play his former team. Like, he will be back and ready to go for this Cowboys game. I have almost no doubts about it, and I think you saw him during the Flag Football Championship trying to recruit Pickens to come to Green Bay. And I just think like he is going to be hyped for this game. I love the fact that this is one of those primetime games. This is the Sunday Night Football. Everyone in America is going to be watching this. And I think you're not going to see the tie game that we saw last time these two faced off. This is going to be a phenomenal matchup. Give me the Green Bay Packers to just trounce all over the Dallas Cowboys. How do you feel about that one?
Oh, absolutely. I think Micah Parsons is going to just, like, with the entire world watching, just terrorize the Dallas Cowboys for what ended up happening there. So, yeah, I think the Packers will take that one, no problem. And I don't think the Cowboys, like, I think they're a better team this year, but I don't think they're a team that's going to win their division, win 11, 12 games. I think the Packers are a better team even without the added incentive of Micah Parsons.
Yep. Couldn't agree more. And I think the Green Bay Packers got some help in the secondary this season. I'm just excited about that matchup. And I think we'll run all over them for sure. Now we're getting another divisional game here. Now we get to go on the road to the Detroit Lions. And this is going to be an interesting matchup here to see what the Lions really have after completely underperforming last season. The question I think the rest of the nation and our division is wondering is, have we seen the ceiling for this Detroit Lions team? And it is just going to be a precipitous fall off, and we're going to go back to the Lions of old, or was just a little speed bump and they're going to be back to their ways, kind of bouncing back after Ben Johnson leaving for the Bears? What do you think, 40,000 foot view, is the trajectory for the Lions, Paul?
I think they're going to bounce back a little bit. I don't think they're going to go back to what they were 2 years ago, where they were like a clear favorite in the NFC heading into the playoffs. But I really think this year it's going to be a dogfight between the Packers, the Lions, and the Bears. I think all three teams are capable of winning the division. Interesting tidbit about this game is obviously the Packers are coming off of prime time and having had just played the Bears. The Lions are actually coming off of the games before. They play New York, Carolina, Arizona, and then they have a bye week. heading into that
Ooh.
Green Bay game. So they're going to be kind of just on cruise control heading into that game. I think that's a tough spot for the Packers going on the road there.
Yeah, I mean, I think looking at the Philadelphia Eagles and the Chargers both have to play 4 teams off of their bye week, and it looks like the Packers only have to do that twice. But like you don't want that to be the Lions. Like, give us the Panthers off their bye week. Like that
Yeah,
sucks that you have to play
tough
it.
to get a division
Yep,
opponent on the road after their bye
yep.
week.
But we do get a little bit of respite here. We know every team in the NFL does have to play one of those Thursday night football games. And if you have to play one, you want to do it at home and you want to do it against a bad team. And I think the Carolina Panthers are really going to come back to earth here. That's just a division that they won last season out of just everyone else like sucking, right? It was like being the
Mm-hmm.
homecoming queen when you're homeschooled and you're the only girl in your family. Like they're just not that good. And I love the fact that you get them on a short week, you get them at home. We already know that Thursday night football, the home team wins 70% of those games, which is disproportionately bigger than home teams usually have. So give me again another short quarterback, another Green Bay Packers domination. You agree with that, Paul?
Oh yeah, yep. I think Bryce Young is subpar at QB. I think Micah Parsons is going to ruin his life at Lambeau there. I don't think that one will really even be close.
Yep. So then we get a little bit of a mini bye here. So you get obviously it stinks you have to play the Lions off of their bye. Well, now you get a full 10 days of rest and you go to Foxborough and you get to play this team that is absolutely culturally reeling. And I know at the end of this season, there were a lot of people wondering about Matt LaFleur and is he the right fit in Green Bay? But man, oh man, isn't it nice that you don't have to worry about this entire fiasco going on with Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel and just like the craziness of that. Who knows who the head coach is? You've got a left tackle who is built like a T-Rex, whose arms are so short that Micah Parsons is going to be running circles around him. And I think 10 days rest, give me the Packers to stomp all over this team that is going to be reeling and in a Super Bowl hangover and coma.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think the Patriots, I mean, last year, even with as well as they did, they had such an easy schedule that, I mean, even in the playoffs, like they didn't have to face Bo Nix. Like it just felt like that was a pretty good team who had an amazing season because of their schedule. And now you have all this off the field turmoil. By week 9, it feels like on the one hand, you think like, okay, by week 9, that should be a thing of the past. But if they come out and they're like 4-4 through their first 8 games, that's all anybody's going to be talking about is their off the field drama. I think they take a huge step back. It's still a tough game,
Yeah.
but I think it's a lot more winnable than it was last year.
And do you want to play in Foxborough in end of December, beginning of January when it's crazy cold, or do you want to play November 8th? I think that's a great time. And so you play there again off 10 days rest. Yep.
The
I love it,
Patriots,
man.
interesting note, play at Miami the week before, so they'll be having traveled from. They actually are at Chicago, then at Miami, and then they have this home game. So it is a lot of traveling for them heading into it with a Packers team coming with some extra rest.
Wow, man. All right. So then you get to go home, get to play the Vikings. I think by week 10, the one downside to opening with the Vikings is, like you said, at that point, Kyler Murray might be able to shock you. Crazy stuff always happens week 1. Remember last season that the Vegas Raiders went on the road and beat the Patriots week 1. Yeah. So crazy stuff happens. I think by week 10, the Minnesota Vikings will have reverted to the norm. Is it going to be Kyler Murray? Is it going to be JJ McCarthy? Who's the quarterback there? And so I think by week 10 here, you're getting to the time where, November football, it actually matters. I think they're going to be pretty much cooked by that point. And give me the Packers to finish off this first stretch of the season before their bye. And I think that week 11 bye coming at the absolute perfect time. I was reading a quote. Mike McDonald, the head coach for the Seattle Seahawks, was just saying that the perfect time for a bye is week 10 or 11. You don't want a week 5 bye. So he said this is a gift from the gods, and it's kind of a weird one for the Packers because they come out of that bye, and it's not a full bye week because they go immediately to the Los Angeles Rams, and they play them. That's that Wednesday game, that Thanksgiving Eve game. What do you think about that Thanksgiving Eve game and the bye week before it, and what do the Rams have the week before that as well, Paul?
Yeah, it does. It is a little bit weird to it feels like you get a little slighted on your bye week. I mean, they will eventually get like another mini bye later on. The Rams are actually coming off of their bye week as well, so you don't really get an advantage there with them having short rest, and you're both coming off of a bye. It is. I wouldn't be thrilled having my bye week cut in half like that, but it is what it is. It's going to be. I mean, as we go through this Packers schedule, like they very easily could be. On what game is this? Wait, through week 2, they could be 8-2. It wouldn't be surprising if the Rams are 8-2, 9-1. Like this could be a big time number 1 seed in the playoffs deciding game. So
Yeah.
should be a fun one.
Yeah, and the bye week is weird, a little slighting there, but the NFL did kind of give them back this gift here where there's 2 Thursday night games where they get these 2 other mini buys. It has not really happened like this in NFL history where you have 2 10-day stretches where you are off. And I think as you were looking at a team that was just ravaged by injury last season, that actually could really help them out here is having these different mini buys. We're going to talk about how it's going to help them against the Bears here in a second. So a mini bye coming and just a dog water team here, another road team. I think when you look at the Packers having just this massive blessing of playing the Jets, playing the Vikings, playing the Saints, all on the road, and like usually your road games, those are the hard ones, and it's like just like this incredible benefit that you get to play the Saints on 10 days rest here. Give me the Saints here as we're trying to fly through this schedule. You are now getting a home game here on another primetime game here against the Buffalo Bills. What do you think about that matchup in week 14, Paul?
I mean, the Bills, I think are going to be one of the better teams in the NFL. That's absolutely one of the games you got to be thrilled to be getting at home.
Yeah.
The Bills actually, the 2 weeks before they play the Packers, will play the Chiefs, and then they play at New England before heading to Lambeau. So they're kind of in the mix of like a really
That's a
tough
gauntlet.
stretch there.
Yeah.
I don't
Whereas
know
we're
what to
coming off a
expect from the
mini
Chiefs,
bye
but
and the Saints. Yeah, like I
yeah,
love that. And then you go from there, and then you get to go get some warm weather, and you get to recover again. I guess no, this is another home game. You have the Miami Dolphins, who might actually be the worst team in football. You said it was the Jets.
yeah.
I think it's going to be the
It
Dolphins.
very easily could be the Dolphins.
Interesting here, obviously having our former quarterback come in here and play, and I'm sure he's going to want
Malik
to
Willis
kind of.
revenge game.
But I mean, I think there's nothing but good vibes, and he just realizes he's got nobody or nothing but thank you to say to the Green Bay Packers as they made him just like, this household name. And I love him. All respect to him and good luck, but he's not Jordan Love, and he's
Who
getting
does he even have a wide receiver? Like, what do
well,
they even have left?
Waddle's gone, Tyreek Hill is gone. It turns out, I don't know. That's a great question. They
I
got
don't think
somebody
I
in the
could
draft.
name a single Dolphins offensive player besides Devin Achane.
Yeah, and I think he's hurt
So,
too.
yeah,
So I think
good
you're
luck.
looking here. Yeah, it's crazy to me that looking across the NFL, there's a bunch of teams who only have one back-to-back stretch where they're at home, and the Packers got a ton of those where it's like you just get to chill in your bed. I think that's fantastic. And then even like games like Chicago, that's a 3-hour drive, right? To go. I mean,
Yeah,
how I drive, it's 3 hours. But and now we go to Chicago. Incredible, man. Christmas. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. This is going to make or break Paul's Christmas. So how you
I
feeling
know.
about this game at
My
home, man?
kids' Christmas too. Everyone's going to be sitting around Christmas Day crying if we lose miserable. So this is an important game. I don't. So
Bad
the
news
Bears
for
get.
you because Packers drafted a kicker who's not McManus, and Romeo Dobbs is not going to drop an onside kick. So
Yeah, hopefully the Bears can play a full game this time. Interesting with that game. So the Bears get an extra day's rest. They have a Saturday game in week 15. But the 2 games before, they are at Miami, at Buffalo. So they have that huge road Bills game heading into the Packers game. So that's a lot tougher than getting the Dolphins at home heading into it. But they do get the extra day rest. So it should be an interesting one.
yep. Then honestly, one of the games that I think is truly one of the scariest games on here is this game against the Houston Texans. That defense is absolutely nasty. And you just saw that defense travel to a very, very frigid, cold New England Patriots last year in the playoffs. And if it wasn't for CJ Stroud turning the ball over 7 times, I think they beat the Patriots even in that blizzard. So, it's almost like, dude, is there any world in which you could be resting dudes by January 4th? Because I would love to not have Jordan Love have Willie Anderson and Daniil Hunter just coming around the edge on him. But this is a Monday night game, so you're looking at coming off here. You get an extra day's preparation. You're looking at this team that's playing in a dome coming up. But that's a tough game, man. That's a game that I kind of, as I penciled wins and losses, I put that Houston game as a loss. But CJ Stroud has a lot to prove, I guess, too.
He does. Truthfully, I think they can win that one because it's not just one extra day's rest. They have the Friday game the week before, so it's
right.
another mini bye heading into it. And then I mean the Texans defense is scary, but at the same time, I think the Packers defense is pretty much on that level as long as they're healthy. And I would trust Jordan Love over CJ Stroud. I mean, it's going to be a tough game, but it should be a fun one.
Then ending the season here, you hope this is not for the NFC North, because I really think it's Packers Bears who this is for. I really think, Paul and I differ on that. I think we've seen the ceiling for the Lions, but a TBD game like this game could be flexed into primetime if both these teams are playing for the division. And this game could be Saturday or Sunday on that week 18, which you love to see. But I'm absolutely loving this. I love that you get to end the season at home here against your division rival, and hopefully it's for something. What do you think about this one, Paul?
Yeah, it should be a fun one. And I'll say with the Lions, I do think it's between the Bears and Packers. I see them as more like 12-5, 13-4 caliber teams, and the Lions more as like a 10-7, 11-6 kind of team. But at the same time, I do think you're going to have two teams with playoff implications that week. I think the Packers, especially at home, are the better team, but should be a super fun way to end the season.
Yeah. All right. Give me your record prediction for the Green Bay Packers.
I'm going to say 12-5. I think they'll split with the Bears. I think they'll split with the Bears and the Lions. And then between Patriots, Rams, Bills, Houston, I think there's probably, maybe at Tampa you can throw in there. There's probably 3 losses there. So I'm going to say 12-5.
Yeah. I think if Micah is back by that Dallas game, I think it's a 13-win season. If it's after that, if Tucker Kraft isn't himself, we can start talking 10 wins. But as of right now, I have the Packers winning 13 games next season. So should be an absolute blast. We're going to do these schedule breakdowns for the entire division here. So make sure you're subbed up. NFC North, guys, you do not want to miss a single second of this, and go Pack, go.